tongue. There's a sarcasm waiting for you. I'm willing to trade my soul for a bit of your charm. There's no way I'll fade into oblivion, 'cause I'll keep shining over you all. And if your wings entwining, you better face the fall, keep trying again. Oh yeah, keep trying again. There's mud on the floor, desperate people trying to get through the door, although the room's already crowded. But I'll keep shining over you all. And if your wings entwining, you better face the fall, keep trying again. Oh yeah, keep trying again. Zeros, everybody's trying to be heroes when all they have to say to be okay is I don't know. And keep trying again. I'll keep shining over you all. With your wings entwining, you better face the fall. Zero, everybody's trying to be heroes when all they have to say to be okay is I don't know. Are you okay? I'm not that sure. Forever.
Hello and welcome to more Great Lakes Truck Series action. Here we are at the most action-packed place of them all, the last great Coliseum for the Shane Niswanger 200. It's Bristol Motor Speedway for race number 4 of the season. And of course, Alex joining me in the booth. Alex, how are we doing tonight?
Doing all right. We saw some controversy last weekend between a couple drivers that could lead over here in a Bristol Motor Speedway, the Great Coliseum, as many call it, and that ought to be very interesting heading into tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be an intense race to say the least. Some beef, you could say, going into this race a little bit between 2511 and Spectrum coming into this race. We'll have to see if anything comes out of that. But this should be a good race. A lot of competitive drivers in this field. What are you really looking forward to tonight, Alex?
Well, I'm looking to see a bit of a mixed field here. We're going to a short track, not the typical kind of track these guys are used to, and it's like a true short track. You know, you go to a place like Richmond Raceway, it's a lot more technical. It's a lot less beating and banging and just go as fast as possible. But here at this racetrack, it's ride the bottom as long as you can, maybe sift around the top to get some traffic. But what we're going to be seeing tonight is a lot of guys who are good at the short tracks or maybe aren't as good at other places, but decent here, really start to show up tonight.
And we're going to see what drivers can really stand out on the short tracks. And on pole, we have a short track expert, you could say, the driver, the number 32, Josh Cottle, starting out front. Then on his outside, the number 12 of Zach Henry. Both of these guys really strong here at Bristol, but there's a couple other guys in the field that you have to look out for too, like Christopher Heller or RJ Williams. Are going to see the starting grid flow on the bottom of your screen. What drivers are you really watching out for here tonight, Alex?
I mean, I know obviously it's the easy pick, but our pole sitter, Josh Cottle, he's historically very good at these short track races, runs super late models and things like that all the time here on Iracing, and so he's got a lot of experience at places like this.
Driver I'm definitely going to be watching out for is Mr. Shane Neiswanger. Even though he's starting back in 23rd, it is the Shane Neiswanger 200 here tonight. And also, last time we were here, he went to victory lane, leading over 60 laps in a dominating performance. Well, that was the last time he's been to victory lane here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. So I know he's hungry to get back to victory lane, the driver, the number 49.
Yeah, and I guess if we're going to be talking about drivers a little bit further back there, I mean, last year's champion, Jake Miller, all the way down in the 29th position. That's a driver that, you know, we typically see at the front almost all the time, and no matter where we are or what racetrack. And he's going to be starting deep in the field at a racetrack that's quite hard to pass without getting a little aggressive with somebody. So that's going to be a very fun one to watch.
I'm interested to see how this race is going to end up going. It's a long race, 200 laps, but there's many ways this could go. These guys could take it very easy in the beginning portions of this race and just take it easy throughout, and then it might get crazy at the end. Or they can do it in typical Great Lakes fashion, which is usually they get real crazy at the beginning, then they calm down for the middle portion of the race, then it gets real exciting and dramatic at the end of these races.
Yeah, but we could also devolve into the typical short track action of once one thing starts to happen, it's just going to keep happening for the rest of the race. So we might see these guys fire off and start calm, get a nice green flag run, but the moment that first caution comes out, watch out, because this race could either devolve into absolute chaos or end up being one of the cleanest we've ever seen.
Anything could happen here at the last great Coliseum, Bristol in Bristol, Tennessee. Always a great show, especially under the lights. There you see Hunter Madalinas. It's a driver that's also starting in the back who hasn't had the greatest start to the season that he'd want, but it's still very early on in the season. He's looking to turn it around here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about everybody's looking to find something new here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We've yet to go to a short track this year. This is the first one of the season. So if you're going to say, hey, I'm a guy that knows how to brake around an oval and get around those braking ovals fast, this is the first place to do it.
We'll be looking for some of those drivers to be saving tires as well. This is one of those tracks that's really going to reward you if you save those tires, if we go on these long green flag runs. So which drivers are going to be quick on the short runs? Which drivers are going to be good on the long runs? Will we even need long runs? Half a lap till we go green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be something tough we're going to have to watch out for. Turn 3 gets really tight in these trucks with the setup from what I felt in doing a little bit of practice on my own. So watch out for some guys to get into each other down into that corner.
Here they come off turns 3 and 4, and the number 32 of Josh Cottle leading him down to the green flag here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and it's in the air for the 32, and he didn't go. Henry with a phenomenal start to the race. He's going to jump out in front of Cottle, and he might be able to dive down into the inside.
Oh, terrible start there for Josh Cottle. Just didn't get it to the gas. He's going to actually take the high side here, which I'm a bit interested to see how that ends up working out for him, because that burns off tires pretty hard, even if you could find some pace up there. Bottom looks to be the quicker lane tonight, but we'll see if that evolves as the race goes on.
25-11 trying to get off to a strong start here. Zachary Henry already pulling away with Christopher Heller trying to get into that second position on the inside, but Cottle fighting back hard on that high side here. Heller just can't quite clear him off the corner. Steven Sims and Eric Kepf not too far behind.
Yeah, and now they finally start to single file it out. That's pretty much what you need to do. You need to just rim ride it around the bottom for a little while, unless you're in the middle of a battle, and just try and save your stuff and prepare for that longer run, because right now these guys have sorted it out. They got past the restart. Now comes the portion where you got to try and maintain track position without burning your stuff up.
One driver I'm going to be watching throughout the night as well. Right before we went live, I was saying he was a dark horse, and that'd be that 63 of Eric Kepf, a driver that's usually qualifying around 15th, but gets consistent finishes, ends up getting into the top 10, whether it's strategy or picking up speed throughout the race. So the fact that he's starting up here in the top 5, or I think he started in 5th here tonight, driver the number 63 machine, that tells me he has a lot of speed, so he's going to be a driver to watch out for.
Yeah, usually when we see Eric Kepf with good qualifying speed, it means he's going to have a really good night that night. Is when Eric Kepf has speed, he usually is able to capitalize on it. So that's a driver that's definitely going to have a decent day here tonight if things go well for him.
He's able to clear the number 38 of Tarian, the number 38 of Shane Tarian. He's trying to get up here and get into some battles. RJ Williams not too far behind him as well. But fairly calm here at the front, but Zachary Henry's kind of checked out here in the early goings. Already 1 second out in front of his 25-11 teammate, Christopher Heller.
Yeah, and as we're seeing a bunch of little battles going on all around the mid-pack, almost contact there with Ashton Lawson on that driver. It's going to be tight racing here tonight, as some drivers are already rim riding that fence. No matter where you are in the pack, you're starting to see a few guys do that. And again, I just don't know how that's going to work out for their tires on the long run.
Some of these drivers might know something that we don't. I know a lot of these drivers put in a lot of practice this week, but some more than others. We'll have to see what they figured out throughout the week and which is better on the long run, the inside or the high side. But I tend to agree with you, Alex. I would think the inside would be the better way to go.
It used to be here at Bristol Motor Speedway on Iracing that the high side was just a place to be. The bottom really never used to have any pace, but you know, just about a year ago or so, they kind of updated this track, gave the bottom a lot more grip, and now the bottom's really been the dominant lane for the most part in almost any situation. But now the high side is kind of reserved to try and capitalize on a bit of traffic, or if you see a bunch of guys kind of stacked up on top of each other. That's normally when I see it, but I'm surprised to see guys using it this early.
Not sure what had happened, but it looks like Jake Miller has already exited the event. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like he hit the pit wall on lap number 1, actually. It looks like driver the number 4 machine. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I don't know if he was trying to come on pit road or he has exited the race early. Unfortunately, the driver the number 4, last season's champion. Most likely see him next week when we're at Schwingring Motegi, but it sucks to see such a talented driver out this early in the event.
Yeah, especially one starting that far back, that always usually creates some great actions, some great passes, and some great fun, as we're seeing. Oh, nearly 3 wide over there with that drive. Oh, and the 95 gets turned. Oh, are they going to save it? They're kind of stacked up against... No, he will not save it. Oh, driver knocked into the air. I didn't get to see who that was.
Looked like it might have been Delgado. I couldn't quite make it out. I think it might have been... I think I saw number 8 on that machine. I'll have to take another look at it. But a very hard hit to the inside. Car went up into the air for a moment. All started with Tyler McClellan off turns 3 and 4, and it just really stacked up. Like Briar Fritz got a big part of it. Driver the number 31 machine. I think Lewis Woodall turned around as well.
Yeah, we were looking just at that because they were like, man, these guys are racing really hard. They're almost 3 wide over here. And then all of a sudden, McClellan just gets tagged in the back end, coming out of turn 4, I believe, and just spun around. Oh no, that's actually turn 2. That's so usually a lot harder to see a wreck there. It's usually easier to come off that corner, but we're gonna see the replay here in a second. We see McClellan kind of clear here. He's gonna run the middle lane a little bit, try and get a run off, and then right in the center of the corner, Barkuski runs up against him, tags him, and just collects everybody. And oh my goodness gracious, that driver went up into the air like it was nothing.
Still couldn't quite make out who that was, actually.
I think that was Shane Niswanger, actually.
Was it?
I think it was, yeah, it was Shane Niswanger who went into the air up against the pit wall.
Well, Niswanger making the highlight reel in his own race, but not the way he wanted to here early. The driver, the number, yeah, there it is. There he is, driver the number 49, Shane Niswanger. Let's take the onboard look maybe at Shane Niswanger and see what he saw. I would love to see what he saw here because he was clear of the accident. He was free. It looked like probably from his standpoint.
I mean, what we're gonna see right here is a typical Bristol Motor Speedway wreck. It's just like, oh, we're clear, and we're not clear.
That's heartbreaking. That is just heartbreaking for the driver of the number 49 machine, Shane Niswanger, looking to repeat, and he is on pit road getting repairs, it looks like, at the moment. So that's really terrible to see. A lot of good drivers got involved in that incident. It looked like it started with contact from, it looked like to be Brandon Barkuski, driver the number 25. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. I couldn't tell if the driver came across Barkuski's nose or if Barkuski kind of just sent it in there. I couldn't really tell from the angle that we got from that first shot.
I mean, from what it looked like to me is that it kind of looked like Mclean was kind of running the middle lane and then was taking his line on the exit, but Barkuski got the run through the center of the corner, and when he got that run, it was just the exact timing of it. He tagged Mclean in the left rear, and that kind of sent him for a spin.
Look at it here. Yeah, kind of look. Yeah, I think it's exactly. I think you have hit the nail on the head right there. Looked like McClellan was right there in the middle of the corner, and Barkuski just hit the gas right at the perfect time. Felt a good run on that inside, and McClellan was just barely there. Looked like McClellan might have been a little indecisive if he wanted to be in the middle or the inside lane, and Barkuski wasn't sure as well. And just an incident once again here at Bristol, a typical short track racing incident.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Another restart. We are 21 laps into the event. We've already gotten our first caution. Is that a sign of things to come? If so, we're going to have at a minimum 10 cautions if we're going at this rate. But we'll see how these drivers sort each other out on this next restart.
Here comes the Iracing pace truck down pit road, and the number 12 of Henry going to lead him down. A perfect restart from Henry. Heller, his teammate, wasn't quite ready for that, though, on the inside, so Sims might be able to put a battle to him. Heller gets it into one, and he's going to take the spot back on the inside, but the battle is now on for third. It's Cottle versus Sims, and not too far in front of these drivers, it's Matt Durr. Matt Durr might have gotten held up on pit road right before we went green.
And you see Zachary Henry, despite getting that big of a lead, he's already backed up to the pack. Looks like he's trying to preserve a little bit of tire with the track position he's got. Not sure if these guys are actually going to catch up to that lap car, because it looks like Zachary Henry's running a pace to kind of slow everybody down and check everybody up, as we've seen a pass for the 4th position. And Shade Terrian making the pass on Josh Cottle, but Cottle's going to hold it around the outside. He's going to hold that spot, as these guys are starting to struggle a little bit more to make up positions.
Trying to maybe settle in here at the beginning portion of this run. Right when I say that, Williams sends it in. It looks like he might have gotten into the door. Kepf very close, going into 3 and 4. And Eric Kepf saw that move, and he just kind of gets out of the way of the 21. And Williams will take the spot, but now he's under pressure from the number 96 of Justin Mons.
I don't think Kepf was expecting that move from Williams, but man, he's really sent it in there down into turn 3, nearly caused an accident, but Williams is going to gain that position on him and fall into the 6th spot as Eric Kepf is relegated down to the 7th position. But no harm, no foul just yet. These guys still have a lot more to go.
You know, a lot of racing remains here. Only on lap number 28 of 200. Over 170 laps remain here at Bristol Motor Speedway. How do you want to spend the beginning portion of this race? Do you want to play it safe and maybe learn some things, or do you want to try to maybe go up there, get a little aggressive, and see how you could race these other drivers? What is the pushing limit? And these drivers back here, they're trying to race. It looks like Michael Sensi back here on the inside, and the driver of the number 92, it looks like Matt McDermott, and Steve Mclean back here as well, driver of the 75.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. When you get a caution that early, you're not sure if you're going to get another one that early again. So if you were trying to preserve your stuff and prepare yourself for the long run and then have a caution come out, well, now you just lost all that extra time you could have used on your tires when you could have been gaining positions going forward, and then a caution comes out. As I'm hearing a bunch of crashing, but I don't know where the heck that's coming from. Sounded like some drivers might have been making some heavy contact further towards the back of the pack, but no cautions just yet. As we've seen a little bit of damage on some of these vehicles back here.
Kyle Hall right here, driver the number 87 machine. He's currently the first driver on fresh tires. His tires are almost 20 laps younger than a lot of these other drivers on the racetrack. So we'll have to see what he can do, driver the number 87 machine. We don't really talk about Kyle Hall too much, but usually a consistent driver and a safe driver when he's out here.
Yeah, well, some of these guys, they just capitalize on chaos happening around them and just run their own clean races and never really have any issues. And honestly, at a short track like that, being able to do that is really, really key. But, you know, he does have to be a little bit careful not to be too slow to get caught up to by the leaders. But we're a little bit early in the run to be worried about that just yet. We got to be watching some of the racing that's going on. Towards the back half of the top 10, I see Eric Kep getting passed right now by Justin Mons up the inside. Eric Kep is actually falling back just a little bit as they're going around the lap traffic of Matthew Durr, as we saw at the beginning there. And it just kind of looks like a train around the bottom on the inside. Eric Kep almost gets put into the outside wall.
Yeah, I've been watching Kep. It just really seems like I don't think he's necessarily struggling with speed, but a lot of these drivers around him are getting not too aggressive, but a little too aggressive for his liking here at the beginning of the race. I think he's just playing it safe. There you see it there with Ashton Lawson. He's just going to fall right behind the driver, the number 24, Ashton Lawson, and just get back into line.
Now for the fourth position, Shane Terrian trying to make the move on Steven Sims. He tried to pull it up the inside, wasn't able to get the run off the corner, but right now Terrian looks pretty quick as it kind of looks like Steven Sims is holding back a lot of these guys behind him as the leaders start to pull away.
Steven Sims, driver the number 6 machine, has put in some good runs while he's been in the Great Lakes Truck Series. Hasn't been here for too long, but at the time he's been here, he's put in some good runs, driver the number 6 machine. And there he goes to the high side, Terrian to the inside, and Terrian he's not going to get the run out of the corner. Instead of a huge run out of the corner, actually puts a little bit of a gap between himself in the 38. He might have even figured something out there in 3 and 4.
Oh, we got an absolute gaggle in the back half of the top 10. These guys are sifting positions left and right. And as we were talking, Eric kept losing spots. He's losing a lot of positions right now. I mean, there's about 4 drivers that just passed him at the moment, and now Elliot Henderson looking to make the move on him as well. I don't know what's going on with Eric Kep, but right now he is losing a lot of pace on the racetrack.
For me, it just looks like exactly what I'm saying, but there's something about there's a thing called playing it too safe. That's what I'm really watching from the 63. Anytime he's getting a battle, he just kind of backs out and gives up the spot. And you can give up too many spots, and that's what the 63 seems to be doing at the moment. Since he gets to his outside, and he's backing off on the front straightaway. He backs down completely, and he's going to fall right behind Mclean here.
Yeah, this is where we're going to see a caution. If there's going to be a caution come out, it's going to be right here in the middle of these guys. These guys are going left and right, up and down, top, bottom. There isn't one singular line these guys have been running this whole time. Seems like they're all favoring the top at the moment and is finding some decent pace, but our leaders are still stuck around the bottom side. And I think the bottom is better. It's just these guys can't seem to manage to run it at the moment.
Seems like a lot of these drivers just can't quite find the grip down there on the inside lane. They're going around one lane up, and some of these drivers even up towards the wall on the very high side of the racetrack trying to make it work. These drivers back here continue to battle around 10th place. This is some great racing here around 10th on back. Here's the Elliot Henderson driver, the number 37 machine, trying to get to Hunter Brittle to get another spot. Matt Durr right there in the number 2 machine. He is a lap down, and right now he's actually the second lap down vehicle after the number 71 of Aaron McCarron. He went a lap down just moments ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of bad there. Ooh, I just saw Senzi get into the wall right there. That's going to hurt him a little bit, give him some right side damage. But, I mean, honestly, by this point, this is just becoming a regular Bristol race. I've already seen quite a number of trucks with some right front damage on their vehicles. Kind of the setup these guys are dealing with tonight, it's a little bit tight center off, so they kind of come off the corner and they wash up towards the wall. Could be why some of these guys are running up top, is you're able to point it towards the center of the corner and then get it pointed back down and never really worry about hitting that outside wall. So it could be a matter of just trying to preserve your vehicle for all these guys that are running the top side.
It is a big possibility here. You see Eric Kepp, he's fallen all the way down to the 17th position at this point. He's fallen behind Kyle Hall, driver the number 87, who was the...
Uh-oh,
somebody spun
straight away. Eric Kepp, Hunter Brittle. I saw Briar Fritz involved. Oh, man, off turn 4, we had some problems. We had to see who it was, but... oh, no. I'm thinking it might have possibly started with Hunter Brittle and possibly Elliot Henderson, I think.
Yeah, the onboard of him spinning around right there, driver the number 63 machine, right on his onboard, right when he got spun around. We're going to have to take a look at this incident. It looked like it started with Hunter Brittle and Elliot Henderson, the drivers of the number 10 and the 37. We're going to get you that replay here in a moment. Here they are coming off turn 2, driver the number 10, Hunter Brittle out in front, Henderson right behind him in the 37. Brittle gets in the wall and Henderson gets him in the bumper and tries to avoid him, and just Sensi then gets into it, Matt Durr. Then it looks like Kep might have gotten some help from, it looked to be Briar Fritz. I'm not sure if Fritz got into him or Kep self-spun it.
Well, Kyle, I think we may have commentator cursed Eric Kep talking about him so much early on in this race, as he's fallen back and gotten himself involved in an incident just now, and it's no longer looking as good of a day as it started out to be.
No, it is not, Alex. You hate to see it for the driver of the number 63, Eric Kep. A couple of drivers involved in that incident. Sensi with a very big hit, Brittle as well. And now the leaders are on pit road here. Most of these drivers for the first time so far today.
That's not surprising. These drivers have gone, we're on lap 54 right now. So in terms of green flag tire wear, these guys have gone almost about 50 laps on tires, as you see the massive hit there from Sensi. That's pretty much going to almost end his night right there, as that's some significant front end and engine damage that is going to slow him down to almost a crawl around this racetrack. Anyway, these leaders on pit road taking tires. We've gone about 50 laps on tires. I mean, the pace has gone down enough that there's no reason why you should be staying out at this point, unless if you want to try and get a lap back.
Looks like Henry got out of pit road first there. Cottle second. Christopher Heller in the third spot. Looks like Steven Sims came out fourth, and RJ Williams. RJ Williams up to the fifth spot, but right behind him, a driver that I've been watching in the early going, seems to have a lot of speed. The driver, the number 24, with that Rusty Wallace paint scheme. I love to see that paint scheme at a track like Bristol. Ashton Lawson seems like he has a lot of pace here tonight at Bristol.
Yeah, but that's what I'm curious to see tonight, as, we've seen a bunch of guys qualify well. Bristol qualifying is a different animal versus the Bristol race. Setting down one really, really good lap might be pretty easy for some of these guys, but constantly going lap after lap, railing that bottom side, trying to carry as much speed as possible, it's kind of a technique and skill set that other guys might not be able to activate for a single lap, but they could run it pretty consistently lap after lap, and that looks to be what Ashton Lawson has right now.
Half a lap till we go back. Green flag racing. Zachary Henry on the inside. Josh Cottle on the outside. Right behind Henry is the driver of the number 11, his teammate for 2511 Racing, Christopher Heller. Then on his high side is the number 6 of Steven Sims. This should be a good restart here, as the Iracing pace truck's going to pull down pit road once again here after caution number 2. A little past a quarter of the way here, and Henry gets the green flag. Good start for Henry. He's going to jump up in front of Cottle. Heller not able to maybe get in front of Cottle. Can Cottle stay to his outside? That was a close race. Heller wanted to come up and clear him, but he wasn't quite able to.
Cottle really took a wide lane around 1 and 2 on this start, but he's going to take it through 3 and 4, slot his way in a second. That's ideal for Josh Cottle, as he seemed to have some pace there on the back end of the run, but was just stuck behind Heller. Now he's got the run straight towards the leader. This is going to get intense, as we're seeing Ashton Lawson up the inside of Austin Moore, as Austin Moore takes it around the outside. Oh, Cottle got spun! Cottle got spun by Heller. Elliot Henderson's around as well. And more.
Looks like Foz now. The number 16 machine. He's gone into the inside wall. Oh my goodness. Josh Cottle has now fallen underneath the commentator's curse. A lot of speed in that 32 machine. He has gone around in turns 1 and 2 from second position.
I am trying to figure out what had happened there because he had a significant gap to Heller behind, but all of a sudden he slowed up and just got hit in the back end. I don't know why he slowed up.
Yeah, looked like he may have been trying to come on pit road. He turned left to come on to pit road there, and Heller just had nowhere to go. And I'm looking over here at the chat, and there was no call to go to pit road or anything like that. I just don't really know what Heller could have done in that situation, unfortunately. You really hate to see it, especially with two very competitive drivers like Cottle and Heller who are running in second and third place at the moment. Also, Henderson getting involved. We're going to see how Henderson got involved back here. Ooh. You got help from Nathan Jump, it looked like, the number 29 machine.
Yeah, just a bit of a stack up there, as you also saw fouls now as well also get collected in a bit of that. Just every driver checking up for the incident. But what I was hearing over the driver chat was that supposedly Cottle had said that he was going to be pitting the previous lap. Again, I'm not sure why, as, you know, he had taken pit road, had come out second. And normally whatever penalty you could have possibly gotten would have at most been an end-of-the-line penalty. So I don't know what could have happened that could have had him decide to pit under green, but that was not a good position for that.
We're going to take a look at the restart. I know that that here in the Great Lakes Truck Series here tonight, that they're using the restart zone. So that could possibly be what had happened to the 32 here. We're going to look at this restart here, and I don't see anything that he did wrong. He didn't hit the gas before the 12. He wasn't in front of the 12. I don't see anything he could have done wrong right there.
Yeah, to be fair, this just confuses me as much as it's confusing you and the rest of the audience. I'm just not sure whatsoever what could have happened to Josh Cottle to entice him to have a penalty or need to be coming down pit road, but that has caused some calamity for a couple of drivers, including some not insignificant front-end damage on our second-place driver, Christopher Heller, which could leave him vulnerable to the drivers behind.
Let's see what happens on this upcoming restart and see if maybe any damage on that number 11 machine could affect him. And it doesn't really look like he has too much of anything. It looks like he can probably be okay, driver the number 11 machine. We'll have to see how this restart goes for him. And now he's going to be starting next to his teammate of Zachary Henry here. I'm curious if there might be some sort of communications where these drivers might line up here on the restart. 11 just kind of gives the race lead, gives way to Henry, and Henry just kind of jumps up to the high side. We'll have to see what happens here.
Well, as Henry is the control car, he should, in theory, be able to get the lead regardless of what happens on this restart. The thing I'm worried about is whether or not Heller's going to be able to keep speed around that high side with that front-end damage. I mean, that, again, that is not insignificant. That is quite a bit.
Here comes the pace truck down pit road. Green flag's in the air for Henry. Henry with the great restart. And Heller was not ready at all, looked like, on the high side. And Sims might be able to clear him, but Heller's going to get the run off the corner. And the battle's going to be on for second. Sims on the inside, Heller on the high side. Here comes RJ Williams in the 21. Austin Moore has also entered the conversation in the 91. We haven't talked about him all day.
We've seen a bunch of new drivers up here. Barkuski just ahead of him as well. He slotted himself into the 5th position. Bunch of new drivers and new names up here that are racing towards the front. And it looks like that damage that was on the front end of Heller's car is not slowing him down just yet. But watch out. Here comes Brandon Barkuski round the outside of RJ Williams. This outside lane is starting to come in, Kyle.
And the outside lane is beginning to come in the longer we go. They're putting up grip. They're putting a bunch of grip down on the racetrack. A bunch of grip up there on that high side, and Barkuski taking advantage of it at the moment. Austin Moore up there as well, and Sims seems like he kind of wants to go up there, can't quite make up his mind at the moment, and now he's going to go up here with Barkuski. He sees how well it's working for them at the moment.
We do still see the leaders running the bottom, though, and making some really, really good pace. And again, I think that's going to be key, is if you're able to make pace around the bottom, you're going to get so much more reward for it on the longer run. It's just so punishing to run around that top side. But as you see what's happening with Barkowski, he went towards the bottom lane and is now getting passed by RJ Williams, who he just passed a couple laps ago.
Definitely some good racing here, and Barkowski slid up a little bit, almost gets into the door of Williams, but they keep it straight. Barkowski gets off the corner with no speed, though, because of the almost incident. And now Justin Mons is putting pressure on the number 25 machine here.
This is such a cat and mouse game that's going on tonight. Do you want to take the high side and get some really quick pace but hurt your tires, or do you want to get yourself down onto the bottom lane and save your stuff and be able to pay off for it on the longer runs? Problem is, tonight we haven't really had a very, very long run. The most we've had is 20-something laps. So these guys might just be going as quick as they can until that next caution they expect to comes out.
We were talking about a long run there. That's probably my primary concern about Christopher Heller's damage, because he still has really good speed right now in that second position. It's keeping up with his teammate. He's staying in front of Steven Sims. But damage like that could affect him on the long run. It could wear out those tires just a little bit more. He's possibly working a little bit harder to have that pace in that number 11 machine.
Yeah, it's always deceiving when you're at the front of the field like this. You want to try and stay up there. You know you had the pace, and sometimes you don't even realize, you think about the damage, but then all of a sudden on the long run, your pace just tanks off and everybody blows by you, and then we're gonna have to be careful and see if that ends up happening to Heller, because he so far looks like the only driver left in the race tonight that has anything for Henry.
Yeah, Henry has a lot of speed here tonight. Zachary Henry, the driver of that number 12 machine for 2511 Racing. I was talking to him a little bit throughout the week, and he really wants to win here at Bristol Motor Speedway. He's been so close to winning here in the Truck Series multiple times last year, and he's already been threatening for a couple of wins this season, and he's looking to get that win here tonight and get that monkey off his back.
Yeah, he's trying to capitalize on what was just...
Go around! Justin Mons! It looks like he might have had help from Barkowski, and there's a huge accident in 1 and 2.
Big pile up here from the front of the field. Justin Mons turned around by Barkowski. I think that's the second driver he's gotten tonight with some tight, tough racing. That might put a bit of a target on Barkowski's back now.
Mons might not be too happy. He's driving around the racetrack. He's looking for him. It looks
he's mad. He is mad.
Oh, man, he's not happy on the radio either. This is classic Bristol Motor Speedway. All we need is the helmet throw. Gets a little bit in the bumper.
Oh, no.
I have to take a look at this replay and see exactly what had happened here between the number 96 and the number 25 of Mons and Barkowski. Where Mons goes around here. Like Madalinas, I heard Madalinas over the radio. I think Madalinas had some sort of damage from this as well. I don't know if it was because of this incident or because of a secondary incident. Here you see it here, and it looks like, yeah, Mons is in front of the 25. I couldn't see if he maybe came down before that or if Barkowski just kind of sent it in there. We'll definitely have to take another look at that incident. But definitely some heavy contact between them going into turns 1 and 2 there.
From what it sounded like over driver radios, it sounded like Barkowski was trying to get clear of Ashton Lawson, so he threw it in very hard and ended up collecting the backside of Justin Mons there. So it's starting to sound like another problem from the front end of Brandon Barkowski. That is definitely going to make a lot of drivers a little bit irked at him tonight.
And this might just, I was talking about before the race that there's kind of some beef between, I wouldn't say all of Spectrum and all of 2511, but it's more of Lawson versus Nathan from last week that kind of have a little bit of beef, and some of this beef kind of carries over throughout the team. So I'm curious if Lawson might be upset about that or what had happened exactly there. Because, yeah, like you said, he looked like he cut right across Lawson's nose right there and tried to maybe send it into the corner and then made contact with number 96 of Mons.
Well, I mean, that's at least what was discussed over the driver radio. Ashton Lawson saying that it looked like Barkowski was trying to clear, and then Barkowski kind of confirmed that himself over the radio. So that kind of tells me, yeah, it pretty much is on Barkowski in that instance. And then there's Rodriguez kind of nipping the wall there, trying to get around that incident, stuck on the outside of a couple drivers below him, and found out somewhere to go, I guess.
He found his path. He found his way. Matthew Rodriguez able to looks to barely survive that incident right there. Lights are now out on the pace truck. Zachary Henry on the inside, his teammate Heller on the outside. Steven Sims in third. You have Austin Moore up to the fourth position. And the row behind him, you have Williams and Barkowski, two drivers to definitely watch out for.
Yeah, well, now we've got a bit of wear on the tires. We have Heller coming out again. We've got a bit of an extended caution here, possibly some drivers trying to get in line in the back. But now that Heller's got the damage and now that he's got some wear on those tires, I really need to see how he fires off on this next restart, because the more and more tire wear you have when you have damage, the worse and worse your vehicle is going to be driving. And this is just going to be a thing we're going to be talking about all night because of that one incident between him and Josh Caudle.
Most drivers had stayed out underneath this caution flag, and they've stayed out for around 30 laps. There was a couple of drivers that did come down pit road, starting with Matthew Durr back in the 15th position. So that's something to look out for. Much fresher tires back there in the 15th position. If he's able, is he able to come through the field? We're about to go green flag racing once again here after caution number 4 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Here comes the Iracing pace truck, and Henry gets the green flag here. Bristol is going to jump up in front of his teammate and almost look like there might have been contact with Austin Moore and Brandon Barkowski on the high side.
Oh, and Austin Moore with a big run around the outside of Steven Sims. That looks like Austin Moore is going to take the third position away. Yes, he will, out of turn 4. Is he going to try and target Christopher Heller now? He's making some big pace around that outside lane, but it looks like as the leaders start to sort it out, they're starting to get that bottom rolling.
Austin Moore has been a slow and steady mover all race. He started back in the 17th position. He's moved himself up to third, and he's just been slowly but surely moving his way through the field, taking it one spot at a time, and he might have something for Henry here tonight.
Well, it sure does look like he's got something, as he is finding something up there in that top lane that really nobody else is able to find tonight, as he's able to keep pace with these leaders, as Heller kind of blocks him around the top side, going through 3 and 4. Bit of a big block there. That's actually going to move Austin Moore down to the bottom. He might be trying to search for a bit of clean air. You know, Bristol Motor Speedway is a very, very fast track despite being a short track.
The dirty air might be messing with him a little bit, and Heller just trying to be a good teammate, it looks like at the moment, trying to keep Moore in that dirty air, trying to keep him back there in the third position for the moment. Battling continues back here. It looks like you have Elliot Henderson back here in the 37. You have the number 9 of Hunter Madalinas. Elliot Henderson also did take 4 tires underneath that last caution as well, but he has quickly moved up to the 10th position. Now up to 9th.
Yeah, Elliott moving up a lot of spots. I'm seeing Justin Mons sift his way through the pack there on those newer tires as well. These new tires are coming pretty quick right now. Inside the top 10 already for Elliott Henderson, but the gap to the leaders is a little bit big from where he is, but if he keeps going at this rate, he might get there quite quickly.
Henderson making moves in the number 37. He spun it around earlier in this race, and he's trying to make a comeback from it. You see all that right side damage. Elliot Henderson, aka Bobby Carter, has not gotten off to the greatest start of the season, looking to get himself another championship. And I don't think there's really any better place to turn it around, because you kind of go into Bristol expecting that you're going to get wrecked.
Oh, caution is out, Kyle. That's going to kind of end that run there.
Man, that run was fun. I was enjoying that. There goes Robin Durr, driver, the number 23, has gone around on the inside. It looked to be 1 and 2. Not sure if he had any help. We're going to have to take a look at the incident. I think Kyle Hall might have been involved in some way, shape, or form. try to get the replay here for you. Here you see it, number 23 of Robin Durr on the inside of Eric Kepf. He gets loose here on the bottom, continues to go. He's just trying to save his vehicle. Gets up into Kyle Hall just a little bit. He's trying to save it up into the outside wall. McClellan gets into the door. McDermott. Oh man, that was a lot of steps to that wreck right there.
That was a very bizarre wreck. The setup really isn't that loose. I was surprised to see him loose going down into turn 3. You know, it usually takes a lot of effort to get this setup to go around, but he nearly did that in the 3, and then he came off turn 4 and kind of came up into Kyle Hall, who, to be fair, was running a little bit off of the outside wall, possibly a little bit too low, but you know, after that contact, wasn't able to save it, kind of slid up into the racetrack and collected a couple other drivers, and eventually it just went around.
We're going to take a onboard look. It looks to be McDermott, and the number 35 just had nowhere to go, and pretty heavy nose damage. You hate to see that for the number 35 of McDermott, who's been just trying to keep it safe all day, but has found his way around the trouble most of the day so far.
I mean, this is just a typical Bristol Motor Speedway race wreck right there, as we see him kind of come off turn 4, get loose, and just never really able to recover from that afterwards. Didn't really stick it up on the outside wall and collected McDermott behind, and actually just does a little bit extra, driving into the wall right there. But, you know, back to the actual race that's going on tonight. We got the leaders had come on to pit road to get some tires, but the guys who stayed out were the people who took tires on the last caution. So now, Zachary Henry, for so far the first time tonight, has been taken out of the lead.
Yeah, first time tonight, Henry is not your race leader, and I think they were looking and seeing how much pace Henderson and how much time he was making up on those fresh tires. Driver that number 37, amongst others like Madalinas and Matthew Durr and Justin Mons, they saw how much time they were making up. So they decided to take those 4 fresh tires. And now at this point, they have the advantage. They have 15 laps fresher tires than those front 4. So it should be fairly easy for Henry and Heller and these drivers to get back around.
And to be fair as well to all these other guys who had pit just ahead of them, you know, they only pit a few laps ago. It's not as though it was a crazy long time. I mean, I'm looking right here at Elliot Henderson. Looks like he pit around lap 82-ish. So he's got, you know, maybe 15 to 20 laps on tires. And while that sounds like a lot, we are at Bristol Motor Speedway. These laps are quite short.
Gonna get the green flag once again here after caution. Number 5 just passed halfway here in the Shane Niswonger 200 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Here comes the Iracing pace truck down pit road once again. And Elliot Henderson going to lead him to the green flag, and he gets the green flag. And Madalinas with a great restart on the high side. It's going to be on the high side of the 37 going into 1 and 2, and he's going to take the lead, it looks like. Madalinas to the race lead. Mons to the high side. They're going to be 3 wide for second going into 3 and 4.
That was a gamble there for Matthew Durr. Zachary Henry around the outside of him. He's going to find his way into the 4th position for the first time tonight. He's been taken off the bottom lane as well. But he's making some pace around that outside as Madalinas leads the field away, as Elliot Henderson was not able to capitalize on that restart.
And now I'm curious with Henry back there in the 4th position. Oh, he's going to almost make contact with Mons. That was close racing off the corner. But with Henry back now in the 4th position, how is he going to do with the dirty air? We haven't seen him in dirty air at all today.
Well, if they're all going to run the top side while he runs the bottom, I don't think he's going to have very much dirty air. Yep, there we go again. He's on the newer tire running the shorter line. Line he's been dominant with tonight. Up to the 3rd position. He's going to be looking for second now on Elliot Henderson. But is he going to have enough pace on those newer tires to get by him?
Here goes Henderson. He's going to poke his nose to the inside of Madalinas, but he's not going to get any run off the corner. And Henry gets a big run off the corner compared to the 37. And he's going to dive it into 1 and 2, and he might be able to clear him off the corner. Not quite. Henry's going to continue the battle to the inside. Now he's going to say, oh, and
Heller turned Mons, but Mons is going to save it, I think. Is anybody going to get collected? No, but Austin Moore is going to really suffer from that one, caught behind it. Fantastic save there from Justin Mons, but some aggression out of Christopher Heller, getting a little impatient behind the old tires.
It looked like Heller just got him a little bit in the bumper, and that's all it takes. And the 96 almost went around. A great save from Justin Mons. And the battle is on for the lead, though. Henry on the inside. He's trying to get past Madalinas, and he might be able to clear him here. And they're making contact.
Contact!
Henry
goes around! Oh, no! Oh, and more contact from Terrian and Mons and Austin Moore, and oh, it's just a pile up at the front of the field.
Oh man, that might be one of the most heartbreaking moments in Great Lakes history right there. Zachary Henry has been so close so many times to so many victories, and tonight it will not be the night for him. You hate to see it. The driver of the number 12, Zachary Henry. Some drivers at 2511 call him Bristol Boy Henry just because he likes this track so much, and he might be exiting this race early because of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this race has blown wide open. We don't know who can win the race tonight, because now our fastest, most dominant truck of the night has just been taken out in this incident, and his night is essentially over from that point on. Heller with some extra damage to go on top of that. He had some pretty good pace. Austin Moore with a big hit. Terrian with a big hit. I don't know who can win this race by this point. I don't know who has the pace left to win this race.
Wow, insanity here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It looks like Henry he was trying to clear Madalinas as fast as possible and not hurt his tires. He's just trying to send in the corner and clear him, but I don't think he expected Madalinas to be that low on the racetrack as well, and they're kind of fighting for the same real estate on the racetrack. They make pretty heavy contact going into the corner, and Henderson doesn't have quite enough time to react. And the number 37 machine, it ends up getting into the back of Henry, and it just stacks up behind him. I'm surprised this many guys got involved in this incident, though. I was real surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching Henry lap after lap. He'd been inching that line further and further up the track in the corners, and eventually that time by, he just took the line way too far up the track, as we're seeing the onboard of Terrian, who got pushed into that incident from behind. That was another driver who had some decent pace, who's now essentially taken out of this event, but oh my goodness gracious. Those are a lot of fast trucks that just received a lot of or debilitating damage.
Because Austin Moore got real heavy damage from that as well, and he's shown a lot of speed here tonight in the number 91 machine. I've been questioning if he gets up there in the clean air that he might be able to drive away, because he seems to be one of the quickest guys, if not the quickest guy in the dirty air, and now his race is probably done too in the number 91 machine. So yeah, a lot of good race car drivers, a lot of fast race cars taken out, and the one thing that this makes for this race, I think it really opens it up. I feel like there's really anybody that can win this race at this point. You have Madalinas and Henderson who are up here due to strategy, but they could stay up here. They're running pretty well on that green flag run. You have Heller, you have Sims. Sims could be a good dark horse. He's looked strong throughout the night.
I mean, right now, the only car with a fully clean body on it is Steven Sims, though I do give credit to RJ Williams behind him as well. He's also got a relatively clean vehicle at the same time, but there aren't many guys left in this field that don't have damage on their vehicles of some kind. That includes our front row, though despite Madalinas getting put into the outside wall, his damage is not that bad.
Gotta go green flag racing once again, though, here. Madalinas does have the lead on the high side. Henderson on the inside. The Iracing pace truck comes down pit road, and Hunter Madalinas leads him to the green flag. A good start from Madalinas, and Sims with a good restart on the high side as well. Can he take the second spot from Henderson on those fresh tires? Sims will. Sims is currently the first driver on fresh tires.
Yeah, and that's what I was watching out for on this restart. You know, Madalenas took that outside lane, but they're crashing on the front straightaway. Henderson and so many more. There's a driver flipping upside down. I think that's Ashton Lawson.
That looked like one of those NR 2003 crashes on YouTube there going into turns 1 and 2. A very insane incident right there. And Elliot Henderson right in the center of all of it. Oh my goodness. A huge incident. That was insane. If the race wasn't wide open before, it's definitely wide open now, Alex.
Well, I was talking about Steven Sims, and I was like, oh, he looks pretty good. He's got one of the only clean trucks. Now he has the only clean truck left in the field, as RJ Williams, who had the only other clean vehicle, just got involved heavily into this incident.
Remember when I was talking about Eric Kepf and he's probably out of this race at this point? Well, he's in fourth. He's in fourth now because of all this. Eric Kepf, Mr. Pink, even though he's not in the pink truck tonight, he's up in the fourth position. So you love to see the determination out of that 63 team.
Yeah, what it looked like on the replay here is it looked like Elliot Henderson tried to self-clear himself off of turn 4. Barkuski was there, tagged himself, and just collected everybody else along with it. And Ashton Lawson goes for an absolute ride here down into turn 1. Sent around sideways, then upside down on his roof through turn 1, down onto the banking, the apron, when he would finally flip himself back over. But wild ride for these drivers on this caution.
Yeah, very crazy accident, just on the straightaway too, and just a very massive incident. You're going to see it once again, and just Henderson just looks like he just tries to clear himself. We've seen that happen from him in a couple of races this season and last season. It's just, you hate to see it for a lot of these guys. A lot of destroyed race cars in that incident.
This is Bristol Motor Speedway, Kyle. We are here at Marquee Bristol Motor Speedway, just over halfway through this race on lap 120, and essentially a majority of our field has already been taken out of this incident. Soon we're going to be nearing on a Talladega Nights style finish where only 2 guys are left, and they're going to start running across the line.
This is gonna be a wild finish to this race. I think this could really be anybody. We could possibly see a first-time winner. Nick Martin has had some decent speed here tonight in the 42 machine. Kyle Hall has had some pretty decent speed as well. Nathan Jump, Steve McLean. There's some drivers out here that can really surprise some folks and get to victory lane. And yeah, Lawson went for a fantastic ride in that 24 machine.
I mean, what we're looking at right now, we have Steven Sims sitting here in the 2nd position. He's on newer tire. He's going to be lining up right next to our leader, Hunter Madalenas, who just got in an incident a couple cautions ago, has some damage, has some older tires, and every driver behind him has some pretty significant damage on their vehicles. I mean, right now, it's looking like Steven Sims' race as long as nothing goes wrong between him and the leader.
See how this goes right here. Sims does seem to have a really strong car though here, Alex. He's definitely the one to watch out for. I would definitely watch out for Heller as well, even though he does have some damage. He's been running up in the front pretty much all race long. Here comes the Iracing pace truck, gonna pull down pit road once again here after caution number 7, lap number 122 of 200 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Madalenas in the Monster Energy machine takes the green flag on the high side. And not really anybody was ready for that restart. There's a lot of separation throughout the field already. A lot of these drivers also with very damaged race cars can't really get up to speed as fast as a lot of these other guys.
Yeah, I think it's less people weren't ready and more that people just can't even keep up with all the damage that they've got. Here comes Steven Sims up on the leader. Again, he's still got those newer tires, about 15, 20 laps newer tire, despite all the cautions, but he's not taking it to the inside just yet. He's going to have to watch out. It's Heller taking it to the inside. He's got to make this move right now, otherwise Heller is going to get to his inside and try and take the spot away from him.
It's going to be really hard to make the pass, even though Madalenas does have those older tires. Madalenas is a very talented race car driver and can get very aggressive.
Oh, right there, Madalenas into the outside wall. That's going to allow Sims to get by. It's tight racing at the front of the field.
right there, you saw it, the aggressiveness from Madalinas. It looked like he tried to throw a block on Sims coming off the corner and just got himself up into the wall. And Sims going to make the pass easy on the inside, and Heller as well. Heller to the second spot. Here comes Mclean and jump, and Sims struggles off the corner. Heller's going to get the run on the high side.
That was bizarre. He came off of turn 2 and just
Sims
almost
is
lost
slow.
it. Oh no, what is happening to Steven Sims? Commentators curse again. This whole night has been filled with him. Steven Sims comes down onto the pit lane. What has happened?
Like I said, they're running the restart zones here tonight, and that could possibly be why he might have gotten a black flag. He might have hit the gas a little too early, or this is one of the reasons why Iracing hasn't put the restart zones into official races, because there could possibly be a bug that had gotten him there and gotten his black flag. You hate to see it for Steven Sims, but Christopher Heller now has a decent gap back to the second place driver of Hunter Madalinas, who's facing a lot of pressure from the 75 of Mclean and the number 29 of Jump.
I mean, watch out for Mclean, though. He's got a pretty clean vehicle. I mean, the nice bright white truck makes it pretty easy to tell that he has very minimal damage on that thing. And he's gotten his way past Hunter Madalinas. He might have a shot at this here because he seems to be looking pretty decent versus Heller.
Steve Mclean, definitely a driver to watch out for. We've seen him here in the Great Lakes Truck Series before. We haven't seen him compete full time in quite a while, but he's always had a lot of speed, and he's came close to winning a couple of races over time here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. Could today possibly be his day in that unsponsored number 75? Really giving me David Gilliland vibes right now.
Well, just ahead of Steven Sims, who just came out of the pit lane, is now back out on the racetrack, conveniently right in between these two guys. Steven Sims might want to get one of his laps back. He's currently 3 laps down, but if he gets at least one of them back, he could try and get a wave around, get a lucky caution, and find his way back onto the lead lap some way or another. So this might be an important race for not only our leaders, but for Steven Sims as well, to put himself with another shot at this.
Sims might need to get a little aggressive with Heller to try to get that lap back. I don't think Heller is just going to move over for the number 6 here. And right when I say that, it looks like he's moving over for the number 6 here.
I think Heller right now knows that Steven Sims is not in the race with this. He doesn't want to cause another incident and be the one involved in it. And well, as we talk about it, caution comes out, perfectly timed for Steven Sims to get one of his laps back as he just passed Heller just then. And there's a lot of other damaged vehicles ahead of him. We may see Steven Sims back in this before this race is over.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been Matt McDermott and Tyler McClellan who had gotten together. I don't know if that was the cause of the caution. It looked like it was. Yeah, McClellan and McDermott make contact on the back straightaway and just really stacks up after that.
Curious to see what had happened between these two drivers. This is much further on in the back. Well, I say much further on in the back. This was, you know, just outside around the top 10 because there were so many damaged trucks, and it just looks like these two just couldn't stay off of each other out of turn 4, collected each other, and neither of them were able to save it, just collecting a few extra drivers in the process.
Bristol Motor Speedway has really became the last great Coliseum here tonight. It's just been a battle to the death, the survival of the fittest, almost a demolition derby at this point here at Bristol Motor Speedway. There's currently only 9 drivers on the lead lap. Only 9 drivers on the lead lap. This race started with over 30. So this is an insane turn this race has taken. Eric Kep is now your race leader as well.
And this is why I'm saying Sims might not be out of this race just yet, because there are so few cars on the lead lap and so few guys with minimal damage that he could find his way back into the race with his clean vehicle and end up finding his way at the front. Like, we have enough time left in this race. We still have over 60 laps left in this event. There's plenty of time for Steven Sims to make his way back up there.
Eric Kep looks like he's going to stay out underneath this caution break, and he's going to keep those guys that are trying to get a wave around a lap down, and I think that would be Brandon Barkowski. That's the only guy I really see that's trying to get the wave around at the moment. at least out of the drivers that are 1 lap down, the driver, that number 25 machine. And everybody else is 3+ laps down. That includes Tyler McClellan, Steven Sims, and Matt McDermott, currently all 3 laps down right now with a little under 60 laps remaining here.
Well, simply put, that's actually ideal for Sims here because all he needs is one caution. Then Barkowski gets his lap back, and now all of a sudden, Steven Sims is starting to be the lucky dog while 3 laps down, and he just needs a few cautions to find his way back up there. I don't expect to see anybody pit from here on out, unless maybe we see another big incident at the front of the field, or somehow we get a 40-lap run here to the finish. Because I think there's just going to be so much wrecking and carnage that track position is going to mean everything from here on out.
See, I don't know. I don't know if we might. I don't think we're necessarily done with wrecking, but you have to keep in mind how many drivers we actually have on the racetrack and how much difference they are in speed right now. We saw the separation on that run right there, and McClellan making contact on the back straightaway with McDermott was just a rare incident. So I honestly would not be surprised. I know it sounds weird with the race we've had here, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we did go green the remainder of the way.
Well, we can hedge our bets now as we're going to be going green flag racing as the pace truck does pull off with Eric Kepf leading the way. Early green flag for Eric Kepf. He's going to get the jump on the field as Nick Martin stuck to the outside of Christopher Heller on the brand new tires. And here comes those brand new tires, shot by Nick Miller like he was standing still as Miller gets into the wall. These drivers are in it for the win behind Eric Kepf, but Eric Kepf is going to hold them off for the moment.
Eric Kepf leading the field. Heller right there, putting the pressure on there, and the number 11 machine trying to get back into the race lead. Mclean and Jump not too far behind. We saw how much speed Mclean had before we had that caution flag.
Heller is going to have to watch out here because Mclean does seem to have some pretty decent pace. Could be that brand new race truck that he's got underneath him. Very minimal damage compared to everybody else in this field. And he's getting some big runs off of the corners, pretty much following Eric Kepf around the high side while Heller tries to battle him on the bottom. This is a three-way race for the lead. Eric Kepf just trying to hold on and Heller trying to take the spot.
Christopher Heller trying to take the race lead back on the inside, trying to clear Kepf, not quite clear of him. Halfway up his door, he's going to send it into 3 and 4. He's really close to clearing him this time. I think he's thinking about it, and he will. He will clear the number 63. It looks like Kepf might have backed off a little bit as well off of the corner, seeing that Heller was going to come up. And here comes Mclean now. Mclean with a very quick pass on the number 63 machine. He's going to keep up with the number 11 of Heller.
Now here comes the difficult part for Mclean. Now that Heller is clear, he's able to run whatever pace he wants to run. Mclean is going to have to run pretty hard to run up by him, as we've seen Heller with some pretty significant pace here tonight. You know, Mclean not really shown earlier on tonight, but now as the race is nearing its end, he's starting to show some pretty significant pace. We'll see if he has enough to take it to Heller for the win.
I'm really interested to see what happens if they're able to get up to, there's a group of lap cars around a straightaway ahead of our race leaders, and right now they're neck and neck around 3-4 deep, and they're all running around the same speed, which is around a second slower than the race leader. So I'm interested to see what happens when they get there, if they get there. Here you see them, they've kind of separated a little bit. It looks like Fritz has kind of pulled away a little bit, but these drivers back here battling, if they keep on battling when the leaders get here going as slow as they are compared to the race leader of Heller and Mclean, it could possibly be an issue.
Yeah, and it's looking like they're going to catch up to him very quickly here, as the pace on those lapped drivers is very, very bad at the moment. One of them being Brandon Barkowski, who is the first driver a lap down. If he goes 2 laps down, he's not going to find himself on the lead lap with any shot to get his positions back. But he's running so slowly that at this rate, he might go 3 laps down and get run down by Steven Sims for the lucky dog. And there he goes. Gets past now. He's 2 laps down. He won't get the lead lap if the caution comes out.
Got right out of the way, the driver of the number 25 machine. Heller Now is going to approach McDermott in the number 35. How is he going to get around McDermott? He's going to go to the inside, and McLean's going to follow him. Heller got held up for a second behind McDermott, and that let McLean close in the gap a little bit.
Yeah, if Heller has to keep being forced to go around the outside here, Mclean is going to find some paces. He's been better around the outside lane. Hasn't really found anything around the bottom as they go around that lap truck right there of James Shiflett. But this is a two-way fight for the lead, and it's way closer than I expected it to be.
Good battle up here at the front. Heller out in front with the number 75 McLean right behind him, waiting for Heller to maybe make a mistake, just waiting there, right there, try to maybe snag a victory here in Bristol here late. A little over 40 laps remain here at Bristol.
Well, I suppose I doubted you very much, Kyle, that we weren't going to get a long run, but we've already gone about 20 laps deep into this run. We are running good so far. Fingers crossed that we keep this going, as this is a pretty decent battle for the win of the race right here between two trucks that are just trying to make it to the finish. I mean, I've been talking about how clean McLean's truck is, but I do see some right front damage on that, so it's the battle of left front damage versus right front damage, and which one is affecting them least.
Very slight right front damage, it looks like, on number 75 of McLean. And here you see Hunter Madalinas and the driver of the number 9 machine, who has led some laps here tonight. And I said at the beginning of the race, he's really trying to get back to victory lane. Might be one of the most hungriest, if not one of the hungriest, if not the most hungriest to get back to victory lane. Hunter Madalinas and Kyle Hall having a very strong night as well in the 87 machine, running in the 6th spot.
I mean, hey, you were talking about him running clean races, and I was talking about him capitalizing on chaos. Well, tonight's been chaotic, and there he is sitting in the 6th spot, ready to get a very good points haul.
Heller approaching some more lap traffic. Here's Austin Moore on the inside. It's forcing Heller to the high side.
That was very tight between him and Austin Moore. That looked very sketchy between the two of them. I almost thought Austin Moore was about to hit Heller there for a second. That gives McLean a lot of run room to catch up to him, but now there's no lap traffic for a good little bit. Next lap car is Matthew Rodriguez over a straightaway ahead, so right now it's just a battle between these two in their own raw pace.
Looks like they're very even on pace at the moment, but getting through traffic, it looks like McLean has just so much more speed getting through traffic than Heller. He's not struggling as much, maybe in that dirty air, as Heller is.
Well, McLean has got to find a way to get around him, as he's looked faster as this run has gone further and further on than Heller has on this long run, but he's just not found a way to really utilize that and get around him, or at least get side by side with him to really put pressure on him.
You said these drivers are on a straightaway ahead. Well, they're closing in really quick on these lap drivers in front of them, Matthew Rodriguez included. I think Brandon Burkuski is back there as well. They're approaching him really quick, and this should get interesting because some of these drivers are battling neck and neck for positions on the racetrack.
Well, the next driver they're about to lap, well, not Matthew Durr, but the driver just ahead of him is the driver in 8th place, Aaron Mckeeker, and he's on the lead lap. Now, I don't know if he's going to battle this very hard with the damage he's got. He's actually not going to battle this very hard, as he almost immediately gets past just ahead of them. Barkuski, who is about to go 3 laps down to the leaders right now. His truck is very debilitated, but oh, that's very tight. McLean almost ran into the back end of Barkuski there down the straightaway. He tried to get a big run on Heller, but was not able to capitalize there with the lap traffic.
McLean just keeping tough right now, staying right there with Heller. I mentioned it. I think he's just a little quicker through this traffic. There's a couple more drivers in front of him that Heller needs to get past as McLean maybe pounce on the number 11 in this moment and try to get past him and maybe use one of these lap cars as a pick.
Oh, well, here it is right here. Big run. McLean up the inside of Heller. He's there. Can Heller hold it around the outside? He's got a big run around the top, but the lap traffic is just ahead of Heller. Can McLean pin him up there and stop him from getting around him? Oh, McLean's going to get loose. That's going to allow Heller to clear him, and oh, he's just going to hold him off for the moment.
It was a good effort. I think he should have waited until Heller got a little closer to Rodriguez. He will have another shot at it. Still a couple of laps left, a little over 25 laps remaining here at Bristol. McLean right there behind Heller, and a lot of lap traffic to work through. There's 3 guys here, and then there's 3 or 4 more drivers up in front of these drivers. Just a lot of lap traffic for these guys to work through, and While I'm talking about this, here comes Nathan Jump. Jump is catching up to both of these drivers. Where did he come from?
I was just going to say, Nathan Jump had been hanging on to their pace around that back part a little bit. He might have been saving a bit of tire for this longer run, but here he comes. He's got some pretty solid pace. Now it's become a three-way battle for the lead as these two leaders have battled so hard it's allowed Nathan Jump to really make up some pace running that bottom lane.
Nathan Jump, part of the new formed team here in the Great Lakes Truck Series, that being 6 Start. And can he get the first win for 6 Start? It could be very impressive. Jump has looked strong throughout the evening. Can he snag the victory possibly from Mclean and Heller? He has a lot of speed here late and is the fastest driver on the racetrack at the moment.
23 laps to go. That's plenty of time to do it here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and plenty of time for lap traffic to make a factor. They're 2 wide ahead of the leaders. Heller's going to split it 3 wide up the middle between Fritz and Brittle. He's just going to clear Fritz on the bottom side, but that's going to allow Mclean to get a big run. And here comes Nathan Jump as well, around the middle, the outside. These leaders are sifting through lap traffic like crazy. I'm amazed Heller has not gotten past yet. Here comes Nathan Jump, almost contact Mclean to the back end of Heller. These guys are right on top of one another.
Heller, Mclean, Jump. Who will get it? Will we get another caution? The way these drivers are racing, they might be the caution. Heller, Mclean, and Jump really pushing it hard. Heller on the inside is not going to get any run off the corner. Mclean's going to make it 3 wide. He thinks better of it. He backs out of it, but Heller slides up the racetrack thinking the Mclean might be down there. Here comes Nathan Jump. Nathan Jump for 6 Star Racing on the high side.
Around the top side, Nathan Jump is going to take the lead, clears Heller. Dominant pass and power move from Nathan Jump to get around the 2 leaders. They almost wrecked the lap traffic ahead of them. Oh my goodness gracious. We might see Nathan Jump get his first victory for this team, himself, and this season.
Nathan Jump came out of nowhere, shot out of a rocket. The driver, that number 29 for 6 Star Racing, looking to possibly snag them their first victory in their inaugural season here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. But he has a little over 15 more laps to go. Do we go green the remainder of the way?
The way this race has been going, it looks like we might go green the rest of the way. We've already gone about 40-ish laps into this run. There's not a lot of time left in this race for these guys to really catch up. It looks like Nathan Jump has really put a number on him, saving those tires back there in 3rd position. But Mclean is going to try and get the spot here on Heller and at least capitalize on 2nd, but Heller just holds him off. He just can't get by him.
Mclean just been really struggling to complete that pass on Heller, and that's the whole reason why Jump got into the lead pretty much in the first place. Mclean was not able to get past Heller and drive away, and he's just continuing to struggle to get past Heller while Jump is he's still shooting out of that rocket. He's over a second ahead of 2nd place.
Right now, it is a race to lose for Nathan Jump. He's just got to negotiate traffic because at this pace, the 2 behind him just simply cannot catch him. That was 2/10 on that lap alone. Nathan Jump with the dominant performance here at the end of the race, but never say never. We could always see a caution come out and really change everything.
We've already done a couple of commentator curses here tonight, Alex. I think we should stop talking about Nathan.
I mean, who knows? We might want to see some action here. Who knows who's going to wreck? I mean, I'm kind of banking on the commentator's curse to make this even crazier than it already is.
Christopher Heller in 2nd place, and Mclean just cannot find a way around him. These guys are way clear of 4th place. Hunter Madalinas around 11 seconds back of race leader Nathan Jump. This is a 3-man race for this win here at the end. Nathan Jump has almost a 2-second advantage already on these 2 drivers. Does he maybe have some troubles late? He needs to have a clean finish to this race and hope that there is no cautions.
Well, he's about to lap the top 5 here in a second. He's about to get around Kyle Hall for this around who's sitting in the 6th position. He was just trying to battle with Eric Kep for 5th. Here he goes around the outside of him. So now all he's got left is the top 5 to lap. Even if the caution comes out, he's still going to come away with a good finish.
I think that really opens up a late strategy too. If there would be a caution to come out here, I could expect everybody to come down pit road because there's only 5 drivers on the lead lap. I think it would be the smartest move to come down pit road if they would to get the caution here late.
Yeah, well now, after just lapping Eric Heft there, that's only 4 drivers on the lead lap. If you pit for 4 tires, you're going to be restarting at worst 4th if you're on the lead lap here. I mean, caution comes out, it doesn't really matter. You're taking 4 tires regardless. You'd be foolish not to take 4 tires with how many laps we have on, as the gap is just ginormous between Nathan Jump and second place driver Christopher Heller. There is nothing left for this field. It is a Nathan Jump sweep with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, at this point, even if Nathan Jump gets some lap traffic, I don't think he needs to necessarily approach it as a battle and can just kind of hang out behind that lap traffic as long as he just keeps his car clean for these last few laps and there's no cautions. He should be in the clear. But here is Heller in the second position, continuing to get that battle from Steve Mclean. Mclean just cannot get past him. He's working so hard to get past Christopher Heller, but there is a reason why Christopher Heller is a champion here in the Great Lakes.
I mean, he is a week-by-week driver in contention for the victory tonight, and especially with all the chaos, he's been one of the few to be able to make it through it without any real massive problems. They're actually just about to lap Eric Kepf, who started this last restart in the race lead, so staying out on those old tires has really not worked out for him, but this could provide an opportunity for Mclean on the last lap here as Nathan Jump takes the white flag with half a lap to go. It looks like Nathan Jump will come around out of turn 4 and be our winner here at Bristol, but the battle's for second. Mclean gets up the inside. He's not going to be able to get it at the line. That's going to be Heller in second and Mclean in third.
Nathan Jump with the impressive performance. The big surprise in victory lane here tonight, the number 29 of Nathan Jump for 6-Star Racing. 6-Star Racing with their first victory here in Great Lakes Truck Series competition. You have to be happy for that young race team, and that might give them a lot of momentum to compete with 2511, to compete with E95, to compete with Dark Horse and Spectrum, all these really strong teams here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. You have to consider 6-Star to be one of those strong teams at this point after such a phenomenal performance from Jump. And now he's going to go burn it down on the front straightaway. Well-deserved Nathan Jump.
I mean, that was pretty much nothing left for the field by the end of that race. I was patiently watching Nathan Jump just kind of hang around on the lap time of those guys, not really being in the battle, and I was wondering to see if he was going to slowly start to catch up, and sure enough, as the race closed in on its end, Nathan Jump capitalized on significantly better saved tires and just absolutely showed a dominant performance here in the last 20 laps of this race.
Yeah, I was personally baffled because I was watching Heller and Mclean just go back and forth. I was like, all right, one of these two drivers is going to go to victory lane. Everybody else is pretty much out of this race. That all of a sudden, here comes the number 29 and Nathan Jump and just went flying past these guys and drove very far away. Almost won this race by 3 seconds. A little over 2.5-second victory for the number 29 at Jump. Very, very impressive performance by this young race car driver. Trying to get you some interviews probably here momentarily here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Nathan Jump sitting there on the front straightaway after his very impressive victory. Christopher Heller coming home second, and Steve Mclean coming home in the third spot. I think I'm reading here in the Iracing chat that Mclean's actually logging into the Discord now for his interview. So it'll be good to hear from Mclean. We haven't heard from him in quite a while here, Alex, and a good performance from those 3 drivers just to survive the night.
Yeah, that was quite a race for sure. I mean, we're going to be talking to a couple drivers for the first time ever in Great Lakes history with Nathan Jump and Steve Mclean. But we're going to get some regular action here with Christopher Heller. I mean, it's been a mix of everything tonight. This race was just pure chaos. It's been a long time since I've seen all the way up to the top 5 get lapped in an iRacing event before, but it's quite a chaotic one, to say the least, to have that happen.
It's just a very insane race, and it really turned it on its head when we had that massive accident on the front straightaway going into turns 1 and 2, and just a lot of great race car drivers got caught up in that and most of the field. And I was actually over here looking at the Discord, and we were confused on why Steven Sims had to come down pit road, and apparently he actually had gotten a meatball flag. Apparently he might have had too much damage when he was in the race lead. You really hate to see it, and that might have cost him a shot at a victory here tonight.
Yeah, I can't explain that at all. I mean, there are some things that happen on here that really confused me, and that's one of them. That might have cost Steven Sims a win tonight, as he looked like one of the strongest drivers that was left in the field had he not gotten that penalty. But he's still, despite all of that, going to come away with a 10th place finish. So, I mean, even with all of that, he's still going to walk away with a decent ending here. And I think we finally have a couple drivers here waiting to be talked to. Well, we might as well get into one of the first that was involved in that epic lead battle that ultimately ended up not being for the win. But here we are in the booth for the first time. Steve Mclean finishes 3rd tonight. Tell us about your race tonight. It was a chaotic one, and for a good while there, you looked like you were in the battle for the win.
Yeah, I gotta say, of all the tracks that I thought I'd get interviewed at post race, I would never have expected Bristol. Bristol is one of my worst tracks. I can never save tires here. And even in practice tonight, I ran about 125 laps, and I think best I could do was about 25th quick. And I just figured, my goal tonight was just to run a clean race, which I figured was impossible. And oh man, the amount of wrecks I dodged in the first half of that race, especially, it was just insane. And honestly, I think I'm only here by default because of so many good names going out of the race from all the wrecks. But yeah, we got up there, racing with Chris for the lead, and I got my hats off to him. He and I ran those last 60 laps nose to tail, and side by side at points. It was a blast. But I think Nathan, had a little bit more tire at the end than we did.
Yeah, that's definitely what it looked like from our perspective up here in the booth. It looked like he was just kind of saving the back there. But, I mean, look, let's just talk about you for a minute here. I mean, despite how crazy this race was, you still didn't cause any incidents. You were out of as many of the wrecks as possible, had one of the cleanest trucks there at the finish. I mean, I'm sure if I were to ask you what the key to that was, you'd probably say a good chunk of it was luck. But outside of that, how did you find the pace to run with Heller towards the end there?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like I said, this has been one of my worst racetracks I've ever had, and I can never save tires here. And like I did a run in practice where my right front was 50%, but for whatever reason, I just hit on something, and I'm not even sure I know what it was still. But I was able to hang with Christopher there, and it was so great. And like you said, yeah, a lot of it was luck. I got nicked in one wreck. There was a big wreck on the front stretch, and they just hit my left rear, and I did a power slide all the way through one. That's the only contact I had all night, and I don't know. Everything just went right for me tonight. I would have been great to actually, finally get a win. I'm still looking for a win, but I'll take a P3. And like I said, congrats to Nathan. He was on rails at the end there, and Christopher. That was a fantastic race we had all through the last 60 laps.
Yeah, well, you had a great battle for that entire last run. We were pretty much watching the two of you that entire time, and you made it real fun for us there at the finish. So we're glad to have you here. Glad you had fun tonight, and glad you came away with a top 3 finish. So congratulations on that.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Not running for points, so I wanted to win, but anytime I can run top 5 is a good day. And gotta thank my buddy Corey Stevens. Without him, me racing here is not possible. And of course, Kevin Watler, my teammate, and you guys for putting this on, for broadcasting it, and the guys at Great Lakes for putting the league together.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in, Mclean. We appreciate you having a good run for us tonight and having a fun run for us tonight.
Thanks, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, then we have the driver he was battling with for that entire time. Christopher Heller looked like he was going to be the winner for tonight, with Mclean struggling to make his way around him. But at the end there, Nathan Jump came out of left field. I mean, what had happened from your perspective? What do you think happened that cost you the victory there tonight?
I mean, Hunter Brittle was racing me hard there, and I mean, it's his job, I guess, to race hard for his position, but he finished the race 28 laps down, so I don't know what his deal was there, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
All right, well, aside from that had happened, you had a fantastic battle pretty much the entire night at the front of the field, unlike we could say about some of the other drivers who we were talking to tonight. And I mean, tell us what was going on at the front of the field as you watched all of your competitors slowly whittle away around you. I mean, was there any point during that race where you felt like you had it, or was it always just a worry on the back of your mind you might have been next?
I mean, I thought I had it until I came up to a lap car that was 28 laps down, and he decided to race me hard, so. And then once I saw Nathan Jump coming like 3 laps before he passed me, but I was just stuck side by side with Brittle there, and then yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not like mad at Brittle or anything like that. It's just frustrating.
Well, I mean, despite everything that happened tonight, you still came away with a second place finish, which it would be a solid finish on every other night of this year and should still be a solid finish here tonight. So, I mean, congratulations on that. You had a great run tonight. It may not have been for the victory, but it was for all of the action here tonight. So, who do you have to thank for that?
Zach Henry. I mean, me and him practiced a couple times this week, and yeah, gotta thank him. Gotta thank the rest of the team well, Brandon for showing up. Unfortunately, Nicholson and Jordan weren't able to make it tonight. Gotta thank the front range guys as well for running as well. Thank you guys for the broadcast, and congrats to Nathan Jump on his first GLR win.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in here, Christopher Heller, and congratulations.
Yep, thanks.
All right, and then finally, the almost shock winner for tonight, Nathan Jump, our victor here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Shane Niswanger 200. Nathan Jump, tell us about your night, because you came out of left up, and there he goes. I don't know what had happened there, but hello, Nathan Jump. Welcome back to the booth. Tell us what your night was like there, because you came out of left field to take the victory away from the two drivers that we were watching all night. What was your game plan there at the finish?
Well, man, I was just riding in third. I didn't think I had anything for them. So I was just trying to save tire because I knew they were going to catch some lap cars. And honestly, I'm surprised I got around both of them there at the end.
Well, one of the big storylines tonight is that you joined up with a brand new Great Lakes Truck Series team in Six Star Motorsports, and you were the first driver to score a victory for that team tonight in what was an absolutely chaotic race. I mean, tell us about how that's like for not only just you, but for the team as a whole.
I don't know, man. I'm still just happy about this. I didn't expect winning tonight. I was fine with the top 10, top 15. They were wrecking all over the place. I was just slinging it through the wrecks. I got lucky a lot tonight, but yeah, shout out to Eric Kep for, putting on those recruitment races, letting me get in here and being a real good guy. He's always answered the questions when I rang the bell, and yeah, man, just happy for this. I'm real stoked. My heart was pounding a lot when I passed Heller there, man.
Now, when I say this, I mean this as literally as humanly possible. You had the only clean truck tonight. The only one. How did you do it?
I was just dodging wrecks, man. I don't know. I was just dodging them. I got a lot of lucky. You guys can go watch the replays. I was just slinging it through the middle. I should have been in more wrecks. I got into Elliott there a little bit in his back bumper, so I'm sorry to him early on in the race. But, yeah, glad we won, man.
You're glad you won indeed, and with that comes the great congratulations and thank yous. Who do you have to thank for the victory tonight? Because it was a sensational one there.
Just Eric Kepf, man, letting me join the league and all that. This is my first time joining the league and all that. I'm sitting here on a lawn chair playing on a controller. Still pretty new to all this, but I'm glad he let me in and glad he's been helping me out. So shout out to Eric.
Oh, well, shout out indeed to the controller warriors getting a victory here in a field full of, I'm sure, people on actual steering wheels. So I guess double congratulations for that.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Nathan Jump. Bit surprising to hear that he was in a lawn chair playing on a controller, not typically something you see win at Bristol Motor Speedway of all places, but, you know, the impossible is possible whenever.
And Nathan Jump proved that here tonight. When we all kind of counted him out, I really like I said earlier, I really thought it was going to be Mclean versus Heller there at the end, and then Nathan Jump just came out of left field with a phenomenal race and a phenomenal pass. A great move to take the race lead. One of the best moves I've seen all season, and a well-deserved victory for this young race team of 6-Star Racing. And really looking forward to the future for this race team.
Well, it's already off to a good start, and it's off to a good start for Nathan Jump for sure. Definitely a lot of potential there. We might see the next, we might see the Great Lakes iteration of AJ Henderson, the Controller King, here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. I'm excited to see that happen.
It's always interesting to see different drivers with different styles of racing. Some drivers just honestly prefer the controllers. Some drivers even prefer to be keyboard warriors. I've seen it done, and it's quite crazy. We're going to take a look at the finishing results here for tonight's race. Of course, Nathan Jump is your victor. Christopher Heller coming home second. Steve Mclean coming home third. Madelinas in fourth. Eric Kepf rounding out your top five. Kyle Hall. Nick Martin with the great finish. Aaron Mckeeker. I'm going to learn how to pronounce that name. I'm real sorry, Aaron, but a great finish from Aaron in the 8th position. James Shiflett and Steven Sims, he could have been in victory lane here tonight, Alex. And we're going to let the rest of the running order run as we do some notables. But Steven Sims really could have went to victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, he really could have. A bit of a disappointing finish, I'm sure, for him, with the problems that he had out on the racetrack. But the thing for this entire field that they're going to be looking at, other than, I guess, Nathan Jump, I suppose, is going to be Twin Ring Motegi. Next week is a totally unique track for most of these guys. Though, unlike some of the unique tracks we've gone to this year, this is an actual NASCAR track at least once at the Japanese Expedition in the 90s. So we're going to be bringing it back here in the Great Lakes Truck Series.
Twin Ring Motegi. That should be pretty crazy as we're finishing the order here. Just two more drivers I want to talk about here. Zachary Henry and Josh Cottle. I really feel both those guys had a lot of speed here tonight, especially Henry had definitely the truck to beat, and just both of them got caught up in unfortunate incidents in their races and early, but we hope to see them next week at Motegi, and that's gonna be a fun one at Motegi. I know a lot of drivers aren't necessarily looking forward to it next week, Alex.
Well, I'm not sure who could be looking forward to it, as nobody's really familiar with the track, so I don't know who would be happy enough to go to a track that they've never run in their lives, but that's going to be the fun of it for us here in the booth, and I'm excited to see it.
Next week, same place, same time, right here on the Flatout Racing Network here for the Great Lakes Truck Series. We'll be at Twin Ring Motegi, and we'll see who gets the job done there. But I appreciate you being in the booth here tonight, Alex.
Yeah, appreciate talking to you as well, Kyle. We are going to be having a great old time here in the Great Lakes Truck Series for the year to come, and I can't wait for it.
Long year ahead for these drivers. Well, I appreciate everyone for tuning in here tonight for another race here at the Great Lakes Truck Series here on the Flatout Racing Network. And once again, congratulations to Nathan Jump on his first career victory here in the Great Lakes Truck Series. Hopefully we'll see many more, but for now, have a great night, y'all, and we'll see you next week at Mutegi.
This copyright work and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and Iracing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's